Welcome to my complete guide to playing Pokemon TCG in late 2024. If you're just learning to play, or just building your decks, or maybe you haven't even gotten that far yet and you just like the appeal of the game, this video is perfect for you. Today we're going to go over learning to play, the formats, which means which cards are legal to play, and when the format rotates, what cards and what products are best to buy, how to build your own decks and which decks I suggest building, and where to play the game both online and in real life. So, learning to play, Pokemon.com has this great video series that goes over all of the basics. So, you'll see here some subjects like how to attack, how to do damage, how to win the game. If your understanding of the game is at 0% or very, very rudimentary, then I suggest checking out this video series. It should take about 25 minutes to go through these, and they will teach you all the basics of the game. There's also a PDF rulebook if you prefer to learn from reading instead of watching and listening, and I'll have links to all of this in the description down below in the order in which they appeared in today's video, because I'll have links to other stuff as well. If you learn how to play the game and you like it and you decide that you want to take it to the next level and learn everything that you'll need to know to be a competitive player, I do offer one-on-one coaching lessons as well as an all-inclusive masterclass for the competitive Pokemon TCG. I'll leave the link to my Metafy profile where you can find all of that in the description down below. And if you have any questions about any of that or anything I talk about today, feel free to either reach out to me on Metafy or Twitter or Discord, or just simply leave a comment in the description or in the comment section down below. So, the formats and rotations. The standard format is what we refer to for the legal format for the tournaments for competitive scene in Pokemon TCG. So, standard format just means these are the cards you're allowed to play. And standard format is the only really competitive format right now. It's what's going to be used for league challenges, league cups, internationals, regionals, and world championships. So, what is the standard format? During every championship series season, Pokemon Organized Play removes older expansions from competitive play, with the goal of maintaining a healthy competitive environment. This rotation challenges existing players to create new strategies and enables new players to get involved using the most recent cards. The current standard format in October 2024 is F block and on. So this means that if your cards have regulation mark F, G, H, or any further letters in the alphabet, that they are legal for play. You'll see here this Regidrago V-Star has the F regulation mark, and since we are playing F block and on, Regidrago V-Star is legal. As sets release, formats rotate, and metagames develop, some decks may become less viable or even obsolete. This is the nature of trading card games, and you should know this going in. But in my opinion, Pokemon TCG does a better job at keeping many decks, sets, cards, and cards relevant compared to other major card games. And by this I mean that there's a variety of decks that are able to be played even at a competitive level. And if you're just starting out, you just want to casually play the game and having fun is your main goal, then you are going to have a great time because there's so many cool cards and such a large variety of decks to try building and play. Standard format is assumed to rotate to G block and on in April 2025. There's no official news on this yet, but they've given us kind of this template of every April they will rotate one letter block, and they usually don't announce that until earlier in the year. So they'll probably announce that in like somewhere between January and March 2025. And you'll see here on this Gardevoir EX, it has the G regulation mark. And an easier way to know which cards will be legal next year, after April of 2025, is that any set that has Scarlet and Violet in the name should be safe. If you're brand new, I suggest staying away from decks and sets with large quantities of F block cards, since these F block cards are assumed to rotate out of standard format in April 2025. However, if you don't really care that some of your cards will be rotated out of standard, then just buy whatever cards you like. So, for example, Lugia Archeops. This deck becomes obsolete with rotation in April 2025. You'll see that Archeops and Lugia V-Star, which are two of the main cards of the deck, along with some other really important cards like Double Turbo Energy and Gift Energy, these will all rotate out in April 2025. However, this is a very good deck right now. Looking at Charizard Pidgeot, this deck will lose some of its support Pokemon like Lumineon V and Rotom V, and even one of its attackers, Radiant Charizard. However, the core of the deck, Charizard, Pidgeot EX, even a good bit of support Pokemon like Cleffa, Pheasantipity, the Dusk Noir line, and most of the trainers will all stay in standard format. Now, that doesn't guarantee that this deck will stay relevant competitively, but the cards will at the very least still be legal to play for at least one more year after this upcoming rotation. And you'll see that the Miraidon deck loses some of its cards too, but again, the core of the deck stays intact. Miraidon EX, Iron Hands EX, even most of the support Pokemon, and some of the notable item cards like Electric Generator, and some of the other notable trainers like Bravery Charm and Vitality Band will all stay legal in format. These are all the legal sets in October 2024. You'll see that some of the Sword and Shield sets are still around. There's roughly five if you count Pokemon Go, six if you count Crown Zenith. Sword and Shield sets remaining. Those Sword and Shield sets, as well as those specialty sets, Pokemon Go and Crown Zenith, those will all rotate in April because they are F block cards. So sets that won't rotate in 2025, Scarlet and Violet base set and Forward, you're safe with. So those sets that I've crossed out, I would suggest not buying because they will be rotating out of standard format in 2025. If your main goal is playing the game, I would stay away from those sets. And furthermore, I would focus on these highlighted sets if you're looking to actually crack packs and open boxes to get some competitive cards, build your collection up. The best sets here are Stellar Crown and Twilight Masquerade, in my opinion, but all six of these highlighted sets would be fine to buy if you're looking to build a collection of more competitive cards. What to expect from Surging Sparks? Surging Sparks is the next set coming out on November 8th, so just over a month away at the time of recording this video, so I thought this would be a good thing to talk about today. Each new main expansion set, there's 4 main expansion sets a year. Each one adds around 200 cards to standard format with its release, but it's safe to assume that only about 10% or less of those cards will have competitive potential. Some sets introduce 0 new decks to the competitive environment, and other sets immediately impact the metagame. The metagame is the perceived popular and strong decks. The decks that you'll expect to play against, the decks that you expect to be doing well at tournaments. So some sets have virtually no impact on the competitive environment. Some sets really, really affect it. What will Surging Sparks do? Surging Sparks is adding some new strong Pokemon. This Magneton is definitely going to be one to watch out for. It can knock itself out and attach up to 3 basic energies from the discard pile to your Lightning Pokemon, and that should pair really well with this new Terastal Pikachu EX, which has a strong ability that helps it survive attacks, as well as an attack that does 300 damage. So that Magneton Pikachu will probably pair well together. And then there's this new Ceruledge EX that's getting some good performances over in Japan. It has a very simple deck outline. Basically, you just build about 20 basic energies in your deck, and you use this Abyssal Flame to do X amount of damage for however many energy cards you can get into your discard pile. So that one actually might be a good deck for beginners when it comes out. There's some new ace specs. One of the most notable ace specs is the scramble switch. If you're not familiar with ace specs, they are cards that you're only allowed to play one ace spec in your deck. So if you play scramble switch, you can't play any other card that's called an ace spec in your deck. There's this new Terra Orb that searches for Terra Pokemon. Counter Gain is going to be a tool card to look out for. If your opponent is winning on prize cards, the attack of your Pokemon costs one colorless energy less. So these are some new cards from Surging Sparks to look out for that we should see in competitive decks. What to buy? I highly suggest buying the specific cards needed for decks if you're interested in playing. The game is very affordable at a competitive level, and if you look at a set and say, oh, I need Regidrago V-Stars from Silver Tempest, you could buy a $120 box of Silver Tempest and pull 0 Regidrago Vs and 0 Regidrago V-Stars. Similar with, let's see, Gardevoir is in Scarlet and Violet base set. You could buy Scarlet and Violet base set booster box for 100 and something bucks and pull 0 Gardevoirs, you know? So if you're looking to get the most efficient spending to build your collection and build your decks, just buy the single cards. I suggest TCG Player. I have an affiliate link in the description down below that you can click on that link. It costs you no extra money, and if you buy TCG Player purchases after clicking on my link, I get a kickback, so it really helps support the channel. I also have an affiliate link and coupon code for Poke Collect. If you are looking to buy sealed products, that's the place to do it. But looking at these decks, we have Kieran Farrah's second place Lugia deck, $54, and he won thousands of dollars by getting second place. Henry Chow, he won, I believe, $10,000 plus an instant invite to Worlds with a $62 deck. You'll see that these decks are quite affordable across the board. Here's a recent regional from Germany. This was with the newest set, Stellar Crown Legal. And you'll see the most expensive deck here is $145. The second most is $134, just because it includes a lot of new cards. And then after that, all the other cards here in the top 9 are under 100. All the other decks here. And one of the things that spikes prices up is Prime Catcher, which is an ace spec, and that's a $30 ace spec. So like if you own one Prime Catcher, you can subtract $30 costs from like most of these decks for building them. If you don't have a collection started yet, these official competitive products can be a great way to jumpstart your collection with competitive cards. The Trainer's Toolkit 2024 releases on October 18th. That usually sells for around $30, $35, and it comes with like 60 staple cards. It shows there on the box. It comes with a Squawkabilly EX. It comes with Buddy Buddy Poffins, Ionos, Arvins, Tatsugiris, a lot of good cards. And then this new League Battle deck, the Charizard EX Pidgeot League Battle deck, releases on November 15th. And it comes with 3 Charizard EXs, 2 Pidgeot EXs, and a Prime Catcher. This deck will probably sell for $30 or $25, and Prime Catcher itself is a $28 card. So this deck, if you don't own any of the cards yet, this Charizard League Battle deck, probably just go pre-order it if you're looking to play competitively in November, because this is a fantastic product, and it gives you a code card to have the cards online as well. So you'll see here the deck list, like I mentioned, for Charizard Pidgeot League Battle deck. It comes with that Prime Catcher. The Prime Catcher's $28 card. This deck is a no-brainer if you don't own the cards in here already. The list of contents for the Trainer's Toolkit 2024, unfortunately, is still not out yet, but we can get a little preview from those cards on the front. So regardless of what decks you're building, there's going to be staple cards in every standard format that are going to be generally useful to have around. I already mentioned that Prime Catcher. Another one's Earthen Vessel that you're going to see in a lot of decks. Yeah, so just, if you have a collection being built already, you're going to want to sort these cards out because they're going to be used in decks. And if you're looking to pick up some singles, then these are all great cards to buy. A great question for when you're building your deck is, what is your goal with the game? If you want to have fun, build creative decks, and have exciting battles, by all means you should do so. Build whatever decks you're interested in. However, if you want to be the very best like no one ever was, I suggest starting with tier 1 decks that are already proven to work, so you can focus on playing your best rather than fixing your deck. I always suggest trying out decks with printed proxies, playing them online, or even testing them out on limitlesstcg.com's tool Limitless Tabletop, which lets you play decks in like a solitaire and try them out before you invest in the physical cards. Some good beginner decks include Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt is super easy to play at a very entry level because Raging Bolt EX is going to be your main attacker. Bellowing Thunder does 70 damage for every basic energy you discard from your Pokemon. And Teal Mask Ogerpon and Professor Sada's Vitality help you get your board full of basic energies so that you can do a lot of damage with Raging Bolt. Lugia V-Star Archeops is another good beginner deck. Archeops' Primal Turbo allows you to search for 2 special energies and attach them anywhere, and Lugia V-Star so-called cheats 2 Archeopses onto the board with its Summoning Star ability. And then we have Iron Thorns. This one might seem boring, but it is very, very easy to play at the base level. You're just trying to stick this Iron Thorns EX into the active because it has this ability that shuts off all of your opponent's rule box abilities, which is very, very strong. And then you just swing at them and use some disruptive trainer cards along the way. Also, this list has a couple of walls in there that Mimikyu can't be hit by EX Pokemon. The Ogerpon can't be hit by Pokemon with an ability. So this is a pretty simple deck, but it does perform well consistently at major events. And it's also pretty cheap, so not a bad deck for beginners. Where to play? Local game stores are a great place to start. You can find the event locator on Pokemon.com. League challenges and league cups are the local level tournaments. They're usually somewhere around $5 to $30 to enter, and they have prizes, prize packs, champion mats, and you get championship points that go towards winning. That go towards going to world championships. Major events like regionals, internationals, and the world championships. You can find these on Pokemon.com as well for a list of events in your region. And of course, Pokemon TCG Live is the online client for the game, and play.limitlesstcg.com holds tournaments for Pokemon TCG Live. And play.limitlesstcg.com is really cool because you can go look at completed tournaments and see what decks are doing well, their matchups, the deck lists, everything. So I highly suggest trying out some tournaments on there once you learn how to play the game and get some decks built. I also have a Substack. You can find the link in the description. It's free to subscribe to, and my articles come directly to your email. So great thing to subscribe to, especially because right now all my articles are for free. Of course, you can support me monthly, but right now all my writings over there are for free. And here's some other ways you could support my channel. Of course, subscribe to the channel, potownstore.com for Pokemon TCG Live code cards, Dragon Shield sleeves for sleeves to protect your cards while you're playing. Into the AM is a really cool clothing company with unique and comfortable apparel. Poke Collect, like I mentioned, I'll have a coupon code in the description down below for buying sealed products. And Metafy, that's where I offer coaching sessions and my one-time purchase course, which teaches you everything you need to know about becoming a competitive player. Thanks so much for watching today, and I'll see you next time here on Celio's Network.